This is our UR3. It's our newest product. It's basically a small version of the other two robots we have, the 5 and UR10. So on the outside it looks like simply a smaller version of the same. But we really believe it's something new, because what we did here is we made a robot that's small enough to fit on a working table. So you can actually have a worker doing work and then have a robot over there in the corner to try to help him with his work. And it can be used for, you can say, tabletop automation, or it can be used for third-hand kind of applications where the robot is holding something while the worker is working on that. So it's even more mixing robot technology with the work-based feature. So, I mean, we have 3 robots. The UR5 is intended to be like a human arm for a person sitting down and doing machine tending. So if you have that's kind of the reach and the payload that robot has. The UR10 is intended to be like a person standing up using 2 arms to take things in and out of the CNC machine or another machine. And it has the lifting capacity of a kind of a man standing using both arms and his whole body to move things around. The UR3 is kind of different because it's not an arm or a whole body, it's more like a hand, or it's like a machine that can sit on a working table to automate things there.
So it is really small compared to all those big robots around.
Yes, so actually I really like small, because I think this is more like the tool a robot should be, rather than this big machine behind the fence stealing people's jobs. So if you want to have a robot as a tool, I guess it should be small and easy to handle. So I think actually this is what we wanted technology to be like in the first place. So it can be used for, we intended it mostly for process tasks, so where the 2 other robots are more intended for machine tending, this robot is a little bit more intended for process tasks and for assembly tasks. For example, putting a glue pattern on a part, screwing in screws, clicking things together, this kind of application there. So the companies that benefit from a UR3 are mostly companies that have you can say assembly work or does work in a limited space. So it actually seems that space is always a problem for production companies. So if we have a robot that's really small and can actually sit on a table, there's a lot of benefit from that, because it doesn't require these big robot installations. So the benefit is of course space saving, and then of course also all the work the robot can do. It has the same safety features as our other robots do. We managed to make it, you can say, if I put my hand here, it stops instead of hurting my hand. So the safety functions on the robot make sure that it doesn't cause damage to the people working with it. It's the same as our other robot. The robot being smaller means we can actually, and newer technology, you can actually turn up the safety features to make it stop at even lower forces. We also have a force function built into the robot, so we can make the robot apply a certain force, which can be useful for polishing or grinding or these kind of applications, where it can actually put a force on the part it's working. The robot has a file system inside, so you can save programs and you can load programs from this file system. So it's actually intended to be easy to use, so we use a familiar concept of a file, where you can just open that program to change what the robot is doing. What we focus on is the price of the installation, so not the robot itself so much. I think the robot is very competitive in price, but the main point is that all the other work before you have a working installation is normally what takes up most of the budget. And that is the safety functions, that is all the software packages needed, and then the time to integrate everything. So by making a robot that's very easy to integrate, has built-in software and built-in safety functions, we can eliminate a lot of the costs around the robot installation, and thereby having a very good business case.
And do you think those cobots are here to help the human or to replace the human in the end?
Yeah, this question we get a lot, and I'm very sure that they're here to augment the human. So actually they are here to free human from doing the boring work, you can say. Actually the human can be free for doing the work that machines do best, but there's a huge need for humans in production to put in passion and knowledge basically because machines don't know what to do. They just do what they're told. Only people have the chance to know what is the right thing to do, because in the end, the customers are people, so it's people who know what people want. Machines don't know what people want. I guess what you're hinting at is, will machines eventually take all work away from people? And all I can say is, every time there was new technology that made an industrial revolution, every time people had found work to do that was more value adding. It started in the first industrial revolution, where we had the harvesting machines that freed up 90% of the workforce at that time. So suddenly 90% of all people were unemployed, but they all found other things to do. And it's been like that for every industrial or every technological revolution for manufacturing equipment has changed jobs, but never removed the need for people.